Big Spaces. This is the second Cool Cats Community Spaces. Welcome everyone. Big shout out to Farokh and Becks for joining us as guests today too as well. Super excited to talk with you guys. And it feels like even though it was like only been a week since our first one, like so much has happened in the Cool Cat space. So we can recap a bit in terms of like what has happened. So ton of cat sales in the past few days. So welcome to any new Cool Cat holders. I hope we have a ton in the audience here. That'd be pretty awesome. We are trying to do this week after week, keeping it to around 60 to 90 minutes so that folks across the world, they've always said like, hey, love to listen to a recording. We just want to make sure it's in a digestible amount of time. So it keeps us honest just to kind of keep things nice and tight here. Other news, new VP of Community, Sean, who I see in the chat here. Congratulations. Cool Cats has a new VP of Community. So very excited to see what Sean has coming up planned for everyone here. And I think, Farokh, you mentioned that you had met Sean before, right?
Yeah. We met for the first time on stage, actually, at Veecon.
That's awesome.
It's the first time we actually interacted with one another. Her, myself, and Deez. And so it was great. And it's too bad we only had 25 minutes to talk because that panel was lit. And so I feel like I could have gone with Sean like for like 2 or 3 hours. Like it's just like, yeah.
That's awesome. And then we're 20 days away from NFT NYC. I think I'm just seeing like a flood of people saying they're all going. So that'll be super exciting. I know Kevin out in the audience, he wanted some love and shout out here. He dropped some sneak peek alpha in his tweets the other day of like really grainy, like it's like those photos that you see of like iPhone leaks from like Foxconn or something where it looks like someone took it with like a 2-megapixel camera, and it's like, what is this? Like nobody owns a camera like this anymore, or what are you showing me? He gave us some really grainy photos of what looked like a cool pet, maybe what looked like chugs, what looked like a store, to be determined. But it looks like that event is on the 21st through 23rd with potentially, I think, a special event planned for holders only on the evening of the 23rd. I personally will be there on the 21st.
Oh, is that right? These are details I need. On the 23rd, huh?
The 23rd.
The holders only event.
There was a poll in the Discord on there to say, like, if we had a holders only event on the evening of the 23rd, would you come? So that's kind of like, yeah.
I feel like everybody can get there like all week.
Yeah.
Sorry, I don't mean to interrupt you. Good night if you're doing the rundown. Sorry.
No. Just one last point. I think the town hall last week, and hopefully generates a lot of discussion here today, is seemed like a pretty big town hall where the founders kind of came in with kind of their self-admitted kind of like reckoning with community concerns and kind of wanting to rectify the course going forward. And I think Klon said it best, where I think his quote, like, we've gotten away from the original recipe of Cool Cats and what made it so great. So we can dive into all that. Would love to talk about that. Would love to hear from Farokh as well, too, since we have him just on kind of like the evolution of his relationship with Cool Cats over the past year. And then round it out with kind of a chat with Becks here, who many who are probably newer to the community may not know Becks as much because her role right now is more internal than it used to be as kind of the original mod, but would just love to hear kind of the history of, from her point of view, of Cool Cats and what those early days were like too, and what makes Cool Cats so special. So with that said, just kind of like taking a look back at the recap of like what's happened in the past week, whether it's like cat sales, Sean as the VP of Community, NFT NIC, or even the town hall. What kind of resonated with you folks out there?
Sorry, I don't know if you want me to go in certain order, but I think what resonated the most is in the last town hall was obviously, in my opinion, some transparency that was necessary. Obviously, y'all saw I was very vocal the day before. Obviously, I didn't do it for just like for no reason. I think it was just mostly so that we can get to some point in some place, right? Not to be mistaken with just pure FUD or attacks or everything. It's just like, let's get somewhere, right? And so I think what resonated the most was like more just taking ownership. You said that Klon said, they were taken aback from like the original sauce, etc. I don't want to quote per quote, but something along those lines. My favorite quote was actually from that I picked up personally was from was from Tom, and Tom said word for word to quote, he said, "We dropped the ball," and I think this is something that as a founder, entrepreneur, human being, in no matter who you are, I think this is something important to be able and hard to usually be able to admit. And I was happy to finally be like, wow, like fuck, like he said it, he's like, hey, we dropped the ball, that's it, like we dropped the ball, like you can't be more honest than this, like, so I was happy to hear that, because it's not a bad thing. I think it's a good thing to be able to admit it, because it means that you can put your ego aside and you can show maturity and be like, yo, like we dropped the ball, but we're gonna do this and that. So that's like one of my favorite pickups from the other day, personally.
What about you, Horn Dog?
I mean, I thought the space was great. I thought Town Hall was great. I'm pumped for the direction it seems like the team is taking things. I am interested to see how, like, I had somebody in, I tweeted out and I pinned my milk sink ideas, and somebody asked me, like, okay, but after Town Hall, like, with the new characters and everything, does this mean they're just kind of dropping Cooltopia? And obviously I think the answer is no, but I am interested to see how these things are going to like play together a bit, moving forward. Like, I think it's going to be dope. We're going to get new characters from Klon. I'm really excited about that. But like, in parallel, I think we're also going to hopefully start to see things pick up in Cooltopia and with pets, and continue to have some of that stuff drop, because it just provides different avenues for people to get excited and get some cool cat stuff. Join the IP wave. I would also like, if my guy Fuzzy was here, he would want to know more about paper cats. And I think that's like even one more avenue where all of a sudden you start to branch out and you get a bunch of different entry points, and you can do some interesting stuff with like how people can get their hands on different cool cats like assets, whether it's IRL stuff or like sort of just different entry points into the ecosystem. I think all that stuff's positive, because it's the kind of thing that I think is positive for the space as a whole, not just Cool Cats IP, but just different ways to get people involved and to connect with stuff.
Yeah, when paper cats? We've all been waiting for paper cats for a while. I think it's an exciting
pound on the table
concept. Yeah. To touch on that point on like more characters, I think the way Klon described it during Town Hall was, it's kind of like an IP loop going on, right? They're going to focus on an NFT drop of a specific new character, and that'll, kind of follow the classic model of like tiers, traits, all that stuff, and then explain the lore of each character, then backed by merch right afterwards, whether it's toys or apparel of the character. And then, interestingly, flooding those characters one by one into what Skiz is working on with the Coolverse, which none of us have a ton of details on. We're going to have Skiz on here in a few weeks to just pick his brain a little. But Coolverse sounds like all of these characters are just going to exist in the Coolverse somehow. And around all that are all these community events that we have, whether it's like contests, puzzles, a lot of the stuff that pulls the community together. And I think that's one piece that's been missing over the past 6 months, where it's like with that energy of the team with the Cool Cats community has kind of been non-existent. It's kind of been a closed door. It's kind of been closed off. They've been hard at work building their stuff, but it's come at a big cost in terms of just like radio silence. So I'm curious too, just with and I know other folks have thoughts, but Farokh, like I remember back in like February, I think, when you had your spaces with the Cool Cats team, like when the game was like imminent, the first launch was like imminent, and it was like such a high energy space. I remember it was just like, I think you even dropped like allow list spots on there and just got crazy volume, but it was like peak Cool Cats excitement.
It was euphoria on there. It was fucking
crazy.
It was 5,000 people in the audience.
It was insane. I've never seen anything like that. And then, so how did you, and I guess a pointed question is like, how did we get from there to like last week you're posting, you know, very thoughtful and critical critique about Cool Cats, and just kind of, I don't want to say disillusioned, but, you know, kind of like it was kind of a radical departure from February. So what's been your journey over such a short period of time, but maybe in the NFT space feels like 5 years?
Yeah, definitely 5 years. I mean, I think a lot of it is for things that you've mentioned earlier, and that's kind of obvious. I think honestly, it's a tough question because obviously it's always a tough subject, right? Obviously, it's the project that we love. I mean, Horndog and I've been speaking with Horndog in privates for months, like all the time. I used to get my updates from him. He was the guy. Like, I was like, well, look, like, and Horndog knows. Like, he'll tell you, he's like, 3 months in, I'm like, well, Horndog, I lost the ball here. Like, what's going on? He would like get on Discord with me and like really explain things with me to me, etc. And like when this, when that, and what's happening. I mean, it was like it's like you can support it. You know, first of all, like got busy. Obviously, you know, we got our own stuff going on at Rug Radio, which is hard to go and all in and give everything to a project, right? Because I think we've given a lot to a project. But then it was also like just the wait, and then not really hearing anything and just waiting for information, and then you end up digging on your own for information, and then it's just I kind of like it was like I don't know how to explain it. It's tough. It's a tough question. It's I'm trying to put into. It's weird being in the seat. By the way, I usually ask the questions at night. It's definitely easier when I ask them. But it's just the weight, the lack of communication. I think a lot of the lore was gone from like, you know, a lot of promises and things. And I just saw like it's like at some point, like I was known obviously as the cat guy, like the guy who threw fucking milk on his head. And the video went stupid viral to the point where we had like 10 ETH trending on Twitter back then. I mean, Horndog, you remember, Sighduck, Becks, like y'all were around, you know, it was like insanity. It was like peak, like me doing crazy shit. And then just like, and then from there, you're like, well, the team is not following the same sort of. Honestly, I'm not fighting anything. It's just the team, I feel like, was not following the same path as like the community was, where it's like there was a disconnect between us and them. It's like we're waiting on updates and this and that, and we're hearing big things are coming. Don't fade the cats. We're working. We're building, which is fine, which I know you are, and I believe you are. And then on our end, it's like we like the cats. We like the cats. At some point, it was like we're getting mocked for like we like the cats. Like what's going on? You know what I mean? And so I think that played a lot into the whole thing, right? And I haven't even spoken about cats or this until then. I just came on because the other day I did what I did because I think a lot of people wanted answers and we got him. So I'm satisfied from that point. And I don't think it was hurtful. I think it was actually helpful. And then today talking with you is because I don't know. It was just a few months of silence. Like a lot of people are like, why were you so silent about the project? It's just because I think it was important for the team to figure itself out, sort of. You know, but I've been having conversation in the background, like Sighduck or Horn Dog or other people. But it's just, you know, it was a little like this weird situation going on.
Yeah, totally. No, I appreciate you being candid about that too, because yeah. I mean, Rook, like early days, like even when I joined the cats community, I joined a lot later, probably like in the October, November timeframe. And I remember the first town hall I was at, like you were speaking on it. So I was like, dude, who is this guy? This guy's like full of energy.
I was at every town hall, you know.
Yeah,
But it's just like at some point, also like, and I'm gonna be super raw and candid here with you guys. And it got annoying to me that people were like telling me I'm dumping cats on people and that like I'm doing this and that, when like if you actually check the chain, I've actually lost a lot of money on this project, which is fine because you make money, you lose money in the space, you know, and it's part of the game. And you should only blame yourself for that, right? And that's just how it rolls. But it's just to a point where like I was like, I told Cron, I messaged Cron, I love Cron, I'm a big fan of his, it's not a secret. But I was like, dude, I'm sorry, like I'm having a hard time even having a PFP or talking about it because I'll just get bashed every time. But just know it's not personal. These are literally my words to Clon. So it's like in the front end on Twitter, people see something because we're in a fucking echo chamber where everybody judges everyone. But on the outside, we're all friends. Like we all like hug, we all party together, we all hang together. You saw me presenting Clon at Veecon on stage in front of everyone. It's the same energy that I gave to Yam or to Evan, to Drift, or that I would give to anybody else. Like it's just one big family. But it's just like got to a point where it's like, you know, like it's just not. I just can't even share my opinions, like whether they're good or bad. I was like, I'm not going to share anything, you know?
Yeah, for sure. what about everyone else here? I see Sighduck on stage. We got Psych, Buuvei, just happenings in the last week, the town hall, the change in direction. What was your guys' take on that?
Yeah, I guess I can go. So, hi, cats, cool cats. You guys are so cool. I
What's
mean,
up?
like I'm fairly new, but I'm a like big fan of the cats now because, uh, like, okay, let me just go in chronological order, right? So, I got two cool cats, one fire pet, one water pet, and ever since I joined the Discord, it is like nothing but positive energy in there, right? So, like, I was like, wow, these guys like even the floor, kind of kind of low, but everybody's happy in here. I was like, that's one of the first things I noticed in the Discord. Then I was like, okay, this is a pretty cool community, just like their name. And then we managed to create a Twitter group before the town hall, right? So we have 75 people in there, Cool Cats Twitter, and we were like, okay, it's up to us to change the world, right? So we started doing these community initiatives, like doing these tweets and contests and like memes, and we this like we just said like, okay, this small group of 75 people who can do it. I know Discord is the main server, like we're not trying to take people away from there, but just a small group of people, it was kind of focused, right? We were like voting, saying let's do this, and then so that kind of went pretty well. We did like 2 3 initiatives where the art ghost was doing like banners for cool cats and with their pets battling the boss, and I was doing this cool cats around the world thing where you show your location with the cat, and another person was helping cool cats connect with the big kind of Lego kind of companies in there. And so yeah, these were some of the things we did. The point being like, even these small changes can make an impact. And then on last Friday, I went on the NFT Morning Alpha show and then talked about the cool cats, right? So that created a kind of a wave where like people started getting back interest, because I know when you're in a project for so long, maybe the spark kind of dies out. I understand it, guys. So from a new perspective, it is like, wow, this is a pretty cool project with cool people. And so a lot of people started talking about it. So the NFT Morning Alpha show talked about it. And then the next day with Benjamin, they made a YouTube video talking about cool cats. You can check it out on their YouTube. And then on Monday, I know Tuesday morning also, so now the recent talk is about cool cats in a lot of spaces, because when there's a bear market, right, there's like two kind of projects you look at. And I've seen this happen before when I think it was a year or a year and a half ago when the CryptoPunks dropped to 12 ETH. It was like, and then ETH price was like 1700. What usually happens is ETH price first drops, and then NFT projects start dropping, and then it's kind of like a sideways movement. And then what happens is NFT project rises first. I'm not sure why. What is the logic in that? But that's what happens. NFT prices rise first, and then ETH prices rise, and then when ETH prices rise, the NFT prices start falling, depending on the ETH price. So I've seen this cycle happen before, because I've been here, right? And so now people are looking at cool cats, or like in one of the other categories where it's like, what? Like you go to the cool cats website, where the price to join this community is way lower than the value it brings you, right? So if you go to the website, a lot of my friends are now buying cool pets to give to their, like, yesterday, June 1st, was the International Children's and Women's Day, and all my friend circles bought cool pets for their kids and just like put them in their wallets. So when they become like 5 6 years old, they can do the quests and feed the elements. They can do it like the Tamagotchi kind of thing back like 20 years ago. So that's a good thing. Like it's kid friendly. I think cool cats are very kid friendly, where the kid can buy the egg and go to the website, do the quests, and raise the egg themselves and have a pet. And so it's a very kid friendly project. And then while this was happening, the town hall started, right? So I haven't been here like a year ago, so I didn't know they kind of lost the connection with the people. So they did the town hall, and what I took from it was that they're gonna start communicating with the people more. And yeah, of course they should. That's their fault. I'm gonna call them out on it, because even when you should be talking to the people. Like, even if things are going bad, leadership is about going through the bad times, through the good times, and the market. When the market is good, everything's easy. You just like randomly pick any project, it's gonna go good. But the great ones are gonna pull out through this kind of market and sentiment, and are gonna make it on top. So after 3 months, those are the projects that people want to be a part of, because those are the ones that made it through the hard times, didn't get fully wiped out, and they came back, right? So I'm going to be keeping eye out on those projects. And so the town hall had main three key messages for those who didn't listen. They're going to communicate to the people more. They're going to focus on the cool cats, because I mean they've been building this cool pets with the website. They're not going to forget about it, but they're going to bring the focus back, and they're going to bring some new characters. So I'm not sure how they're going to bring it. It's probably going to be named like Cool Friends, and be a one collection with different type of breed or something. But that's my take on it, and it's glad everybody's here to talk about this. There's glad you guys are here. Let's talk more and have these spaces more often, because this is what we need, and to just make it a collaborative effort together to bring the cats back, right?
No, that was so well said. I think you hit on like so many amazing points on just what's happened, but also, dude, that warmed my heart. Like with the story on getting the, people buying the cool pets and storing them away for their kids too. That's so that was great. I appreciate you sharing that. Um, Sighduck, Zoopa. I know you guys are longstanding community members too. When you think about that town hall that happened and kind of changing direction, what was going through your guys' minds?
Go ahead, Sighduck, hit it.
Hey everyone. I thought it was good. I think there's obviously some realizations happening, some change happening. I think I mentioned it somewhere else, but it's a good first step, and I think trust takes a lot of time to be rebuilt. So I think like I'm looking for the next steps, right? The next, like, what are the next 10 steps they take? But I think it's definitely in the right direction. The focus seemed more on point. I think self-awareness is extremely important in this space of like realizing where you are as a project, as as a player in the space, as builders. You can't just build blindly, right? You kind of need to really read the room and like get a feel for where the market's headed, because the market moves so fast, and if you don't adjust, then it will and it can get away from you. So I think it's good that that they're starting to realize some of these things and putting into motion.
Yeah, I mean, I agree too. I think it's good. I mean, you put together, the thread originally, which listed everything, very easy for everyone to read and understand. And the team definitely saw it, and they answered, pretty much all the questions, maybe not all of them, but majority of the questions that the community had. So I thought it was probably one of the best town halls we've had, and it was well needed. Yeah, it's pretty much it. I'm really happy with it, the way it went, and hopefully look forward to them, expanding on all these things in the future.
So can I ask you guys, because I've continued to be curious about this, and Farokh, like you have been vocal about this, but why is it, do you think, the Cats team was reticent to talk about Ken Cron and his role?
Bro, I don't know, fam.
Because like you've said
it's
it
so
in your
bullish.
tweets, and we've talked about this privately. I've talked about this with a lot of people privately. Like, it's a good thing to have that dude advising your team and investing in your team, right? Like, I've never quite understood, like, other than maybe just general FUD from folks who, their paradigm for Web3 is like super decentralized.
But that's
like no. Yeah, I'm just saying, like, I've always been kind of curious, like, why it went down that way.
It almost feels like the ultimate like slap in the face, even more to the community, where it's like even if it's good news, we're not gonna tell you if it's true or not.
But that's why it's so weird, right, Yehuda? Am I saying your name right, Yehuda?
Yes, cool cat.
Wait, oh sorry, it wasn't him that was just talking. It was
That
Good
was
Night.
Horn Dog.
Sorry, Horn Dog. No,
Good
because
Night.
Yehuda was
Good
like
Night really has
unmuted.
awful Spaces discipline. I gotta say, like he'll just let anybody up here. I'm trying to clean up the mess as best I
Hey,
can.
you gotta let the goblins up. Come on, man.
I'm a noob.
Wait, guys, we're cool cats. We welcome everyone, including goblins.
Exactly,
I
yo.
just
But
came
Just trying to have a
for my
conversation
cat.
here, you know.
Honestly, to your thing, like either one, it went sideways, which I don't think it did. Obviously, or else they would have made the announcement they made last week, finally, like saying the guys on the team. You know what I mean? Like sometimes VC, like venture capital money coming into your company doesn't mean like up only or positive. It can mean that a company also goes completely sideways because they set up a board and the board doesn't agree with vision, this, that, and you get fucked up, which I don't think is the case for the CoolCats. I actually don't think it's that way. Or they didn't say it at first because they were scared, I guess, of FUD that you talk about, like scared of like people's reactions, because the CoolCats were always a like family-friendly, small little thing, which was like about Klon. Like honestly, we bought cats for the Klon. Like that's why I bought my cats first. That's why I even kept us there in the first place, yo. And no disrespect to anybody else in the cats, like it was Klon. Like it was the artist. It's the fucking blue cat. And then once Klon brings everybody in, the team around it you're supposed to build around Klon is what keeps you there, and the utility, all the stuff. But like it's Klon. And then, Ken Cron, those are big names. It's scary activation. Blah, blah, blah. Maybe they were scared to talk about it, and it got so late that they were like, when you caught in a spiral of lying or like not telling? I don't know. I'm just assuming. It was just weird. That's what was like. Last week I was just straight up like I was just pissed. That's why I stepped out. I was like, yo, fuck it. I want the answer. I was like, that's it. You remember? I was like, I used to hint at it, and I was like, yo, I want my answer. Because what did I do? Sadly, I called the people I think would know, and at Veecon I did it with certain people. This that I was like, yo, I'll figure out myself who it is. I'll get my own answers. But you guys, maybe other people who don't have my audience or network won't be able to know. So it's not fair. So I went and asked because I want people to know. And I think it was really good that they talked about it because that gentleman, Ken Cron, knows what the fuck he's doing, right? And so it's someone who I think is pretty smart. And I've asked around, and he knows what he's talking about. He knows what he's doing. He's been in the space for a minute. CEO of Activision, no joke. But, I think it was cool that we finally get some answers. I wouldn't know why it was held. Maybe they were scared of saying they have a board, man. Maybe finally now we've helped all of us collectively kind of break the ice. And we're actually going to see what's up. Maybe. I don't know.
Hey, can y'all hear me? Hello?
Yeah, what's up?
Yeah.
Yo.
That's a cute cat.
Thank you so much. Yeah. I just wanted to touch on this because I want to point out something that was mentioned during the last town hall when I believe someone of the cat community inquired like who the rest of the investors were. And they said
Spencer.
They wanted to. Yes. Spencer. Shout out Spencer. All those great questions. He was asking about all of them. And I think they wanted to release like all of that information at once. I'm not too sure. So my thoughts are maybe we jumped the gun. There was a lot going on. And, the whole transition for the community manager and director of community and everything like that. So maybe just got kind of washed up. And because we asked, they saw that we wanted to know and they just went ahead and let us know. I don't know. That's just my 2 cents, at least.
Yeah, although to be fair, like these rumors, some version of this rumor has been kicking around for a while.
It's like 7 months. Like I
and
heard
like the original LLC papers that people dug up from Florida were like, I don't know, from August maybe or the fall.
Horn Dog, how many months have I been screaming about Ken Cron in that chat?
Yeah, we've had in DMs we've been talking about a lot because we think
it
was
like taboo.
Right?
Remember when
he's literally the former CEO of Activision, right?
Remember when Nick and Pio did the like breaking newsroom? Remember when that pissed everyone off when they did the.
So
technically they weren't wrong. because they were
Yeah.
actually trying to break that news, but actually they weren't really breaking
But
news
they
because
didn't. But
low
A,
key.
they got it months later, and B, they didn't really know what the fuck they were talking
Correct,
about.
right?
Yeah.
But like, I think they were trying to get to that, but they kind of fucked up, right? But like, it's been around, so it's like, you know, those things I think are good and healthy to talk about because it's
But it's
like,
also
hey,
one of these, like, I think maybe they were just like a little bit prisoner to how the space was back in the fall versus how it is now, right? Because now, like, you know, Azuki brings on the dude who what was the CEO of whatever the Hello Kitty company, right? Like, that's a big announcement. You know, Doodles goes out and hires a CEO, and they get the former CEO of, or acting CEO, whatever he was, of Billboard. Like, that's a big announcement. And I don't know, maybe in the fall it felt like, unless you really had an explanation of exactly what you were doing with this kind of investment or this kind of advisor, like you didn't want to say anything about it. But anyway,
but
I've just always found it pretty curious because, like, this should be, if handled by a different project, I think it would be handled like big bullish news, you know?
I think they were missing a proper PR and social and community team, which is now that's why I like having Sean and this and that. But like, I think they were missing the proper, like, I'm not gonna lie, like they were missing someone like what, like they were missing kind of like us. You know what I mean, Horn Dog? Like, they were missing like people that are out there just like talking about shit, you know, and like because we were doing it right. We were always like, here we like the cats, or we would have like spaces about the Cool Cats town halls, like, what you doing? Good night, like and stuff like that. It was all the time. Like we were talking about the cats, breaking news about the cats, doing things about the cats, building community about the cats. So at some point, it felt like it was more of us doing it versus like community leaders, like that are actually like paid by the like them to do it, like employee. Like it should have come from that. Like at some point, it's like your community can only do so much, and like you have to be the one doing it, right? Because at the end of the day, like I don't work for the Cool Cats. I'm not on Cool Cats payroll. I have my own shit to deal with, and there's plenty of other projects I could invest ether in that can move, right? So you have to think like that when you're founder. It's like, if I don't deliver more with Rug Radio or do certain things, people are going to put their ether somewhere else and basta. And that's just how it runs. And I feel like it got to that point, right? And it's just like, and it sucks because it's like watching your favorite basketball team blow like a fucking 25-point lead. It's like, you know what I mean? And it's like, you're like, damn, like, because like you put your eggs in that basket. And I'm not talking about just ether and money. I'm talking about time, energy, emotions, everything. And then you're like, and I think that I speak for like Horn Dog, Zoop, Sai, like a lot of us here, and you guys tell me if I'm wrong. But it's like you're there, and you're like, then you see Doodles blow up, and you're like, fuck. And then you see that blow, you're like, damn. And you're like, my God, like it's not a bad thing. Fan of the Doodles, fan of Evan, fan of all these people. They're friends. They're actual friends. So I'm really proud of them. I want them to win. But it's just like, you're like, damn, like we were just there. Like I'm seeing a lot of you guys in the Cool Cats because I read a lot of y'all threads. I just don't interact as much, but I'm reading, and I'm like, you guys talk about how like Cool Cats were one of the first that built this community and the cute avatar, and we all came together. And dude, I put a video of me pouring milk on my head. You know, like we went so far. You know, but it's just like it's like damn. And you're like, oh, you see it fumble, and then you don't get news, and then you don't hear about it, and then you don't get town halls, and you're like, damn. That's exactly what happened, and I'm happy that last Friday happened. Now that's a baby step, very little, but it did happen. So it would suck not to acknowledge it, and I think we have to, because if we're going to criticize one way, we can also criticize another way and say, hey, that's cool, right? So it's I think that's exactly how I feel. I've been thinking since you opened the room. Like I think this is like watching my team blow a huge lead, and I'm just like, damn it, like but we can still get it back. We can still get the Super Bowl.
No, I liked how I asked you
not
the
over.
question earlier on like how like what happened from February to now, and you struggled with the words, but now it's just like a floodgate of emotions. Just
Plus I just
fill
rolled the
the
joint, so
room.
just give me 5 minutes and you're good.
Well, yeah, and I can speak for myself too, because I used to host weekly spaces, post town hall spaces, for like a couple months, where we would chop it up all the time. That was like our Friday night, because it was still like pre people getting out of their house, like.
Friday nights was for the cats. Fridays was the day that the cats would explode on the floor, and it's like Friday night, Cool Cats.
Right? It was
That's
lit because we would have town hall, and then we would chop it up for like hours.
We used to say
town
Catter
hall.
Day.
Yeah, and then we go in. Well, and let's not even utter what some people would call Sunday, because I will not accept it in this,
You mean
community spaces. But I'm just saying, like, basically from my perspective, I held those like all through January, basically, until the game got paused, because then if you hopped into any space talking about Cool Cats, it was just 100% a Greg Fest. And then I feel like at the same time, that's when the team went dark too, because they, like, obviously they were dealing with trying to get the game out, and then like there weren't a lot of positive things they could say, and then after that, I feel like they learned some of the wrong lessons about the, under promise, over deliver type stuff, because, I think that can be true, but it doesn't mean you have to go like zero dark 30, like I think we've seen, and we talked
it's
about
the
this
zero
last
dark
week
30
too.
that was the problem, Horn Dog. That was really the thing.
Yeah,
'cause
that's
it's
what
like
I'm
I had to
saying.
get my news from you. Remember at some point, because I get busy. So I say now, you have to acknowledge people still have their jobs. Like not everybody's fully time JPEGs. And even some of us, we have projects, we don't have a job. It's like, what's going on? I had to message you to ask what's going on. I think that's where the problem starts, right?
I was like a source of knowledge just because I read the GitHub, and like listen to like one podcast that Tom did many moons ago. And but that does speak to the comms problems, where like anything I was saying was publicly available, but it wasn't easily digestible, and it wasn't being communicated, in digestible ways by the team. So like that is one lesson I hope they're learning. And similarly, right, like we see how the Sharp teams act now. It's not like, even if they don't really tell you what's going on, they give you a little, they give you some hints, they drop some spice, like they get people hyped up. Like obviously you can go overboard in that and do too much promising without handing stuff over, but like I do think there's a happy medium that many projects have found, that are still, their community is still excited about everything that's happening.
I think it's also not to the flip side, Horn Dog, is that's why I waited like 6 months before really asking the questions straight up. Who is this guy? But I did wait 6 months because I don't want to be that guy asking every month, when's this, when's that. So I think we have to be mindful of like, you have to leave people and founders time to actually build something, because time is warped, right? Good night, like you're talking about, it feels like 5 years ago. I don't remember that room I hosted where we did the CoolCats launch. It's like, it's a blast from the past for me. It's like, but it was just a couple months ago. But it's like, I think we have to be mindful of that. Like, and I think we were, and it's like after a time, like, well, even let's say you have to wait to build something, because I'm going through the same thing. Like we're building something, but it takes a little time. So I need to make sure that people in the project are entertained and like are actually like engaged, right? And so I think that's where a lot of people lack. But then again, like it's okay to fumble that a little bit too, right? So it's just like, I don't think it's like, they don't know what they're doing, like Clon, Tom, Ilu and Ling, but it's just like maybe they also were probably like, Clon's an artist after all. Like artists feel things differently, right? Like I'm an entrepreneur, maybe like I have thicker skin, maybe I can take a few punches. Like me, Clon as an artist, like people talking about his art, like really hurt him, and I know it did because we had that mental health conversation, right? And it's just like, I think that's also something to note. But it's just, the Cool Cats as a whole should be like a really good like example of really good things that you should do, and maybe all the things that you can't do, but maybe a way potentially now I think they have the chance to turn around to something that can become, and like how you overcome these like mistakes and like you build on top of that, right? I think it would be awesome to see that happening in the space.
I think message has been received from the team, and now everyone's kind of on bated breath, just kind of see how are they gonna take this information now that they've heard it and kind of rise from the ashes again in a very hyperbolic sense. To transition topics though, what are we gonna do about the game, guys? What are we gonna do about Milk? And this gets into, I think, Horn Dog kind of like some of the tweets you had going on over the past week, and Farokh as well too, calling out Milk and things like that. But curious, Horn Dog, you want to take this one in terms of just sharing, kind of teeing up kind of what Farokh said and you building off that?
Yeah, let me show my thread. So, okay, Milk Sync ideas. And I'm here, think of this as Shark Tank. We're just here, we're pitching ideas. You can take it or leave it. You can invest, You can say, here's what I need in order to feel good about this idea. But first, okay, and I feel like many moons ago, people would complain about this idea because it's like favoring whales. But we live in the world we live in now, and milk is, I couldn't even tell you the price of milk. So, one solution for folks who have a lot of eggs, or not a lot of time, or plenty of ETH to throw around at picking up more milk is to let them skip the line by paying a nice hefty premium to hatch their eggs all in one go. And what I've been told, and this is an idea straight from Farokh that I gave my own spin to, but like however you would have to implement it, it seems like it should be doable. I've been told that the way the contract it works, you have to have 50 items. So like perhaps this would have to work like however it would be rolled, like you just roll 50 random items, or perhaps you can buy your 50 items so you get the kinds of items you want, and then you pay a premium on top to have them all interact at once. But this would be a huge milk sink. It would allow people to hatch more pets. It would get more pets in the ecosystem. And anyone holding the milk token presumably would benefit because a bunch of milk would get burned. And maybe it would increase demand for folks who just want to buy a pet and then go buy a bunch of milk and hatch the pet right away.
I like that idea a lot, and I'd love to hear what other folks say. The one thing that what it made me think of when you guys brought up that idea, which is a conversation for a totally other different space for another community space, is like, is this because the act of playing the game is actually a chore? Is it in some ways not that fun anymore to be able to go and kind of do this on a daily basis? And that's a topic for a whole other time, but it's like a common blockchain game kind of thing, right? At what point is the game no longer fun and it feels like a chore? But we'll save that conversation for another day.
But I think that's not even gonna be the game at the end of the day. Like with what Wiz's work Skiz is building. Like I even dug. I was like, yo, who's this Skiz guy? And like I dug in and like I heard like really good things about him. Like that he's actually like he's quite the guy known about with games and stuff. He's very knowledgeable. Now with the Coolverse, whatever they're doing, it's clearly like this game is gonna be changing. But back to the milk conversations, like I reacted with that because I was like, that's interesting because like I actually was just collecting mine because I do it maybe every week or two, whatever. I don't even go and do it that much, right? Because you can do it after a while. So here I'm collecting another 200,000 milk token. And then, but I still haven't once gone and bought items and did it. Whereas my girlfriend, she had her one pet and she was like so passionate about it. Like I even had to bridge some freaking ETH and like send her some milk so she can go and like get some items and get her pet. So she actually revealed hers because she was actually having a ton of fun with doing it. But like for me, it's like, I can't do it. Sighduck, I mean, with all the cats you got, dude, like I don't even understand how you do it. And it's just like, but it's just, but like, what if I could just pay a fee, it randomly selects 50 items, feeds them to my egg, and bang. Would you do it? I think I would. Like
I think that's a really good milk sink. It just, the only thing is like there would have to be so many more milk sinks because that's a limited amount, right? Like once you convert all the eggs to pets, it's like, okay, that milk sink's over. So like I think there's got to be some in addition to that, like ongoing milk sinks. And just real quick while I'm still talking, that was like the last series of like Horn Dog speaking, Good Night, and Farokh, when you started it off with like your experience, like how you're feeling, everything you've been through, you know, like I think a lot of people felt that. I think like that was like I was like, damn, like it's good to hop in a space, a cool cat space at that, and hear all this stuff, like this stuff I missed hearing back in like the fall and stuff. And I'm gonna pass it over, but real quick also, Queenie's profile pic is so tough with like the background and that cool pet, like bravo.
It's a one of one.
I see it.
Okay, but so I agree with you, and like obviously there has to be more coming from milk sinks. So I'm presuming with any of these plans that like, you know, there's more stuff getting shipped. We're gonna have some boss battles. I have no idea the timeline for like actual battling and stuff like that, but like the presumption as more functionalities coming. And in the meantime, I had to go look this up just so I like had it right. We only have, and I don't even know like how long has Cooltopia been launched now, but we've only fully hatched 5,669 pets. So that's it. There's still 12,500, over 12,500 that are full eggs, not even at like one of the
And
other
how
stages.
much we need to pay for, let's
I don't
say,
know.
50
I
items?
mean,
How much are items in average item?
it'd be 45,000.
Wait, how many raw eggs are there?
12,000. Well, I don't know if they're raw because people may have interacted with them, but there
those are raw.
Wait,
there
that
are
sounds
over,
so wrong, y'all.
There are over
We gotta fix that terminology.
12,500 eggs.
Unhatched.
But okay, so Farokh, 50 items. If you were just buying chests, it's 45,000.
So 45K per egg, and you do, let's say 10,000 of them do it. That's 450 million milk. I just don't know how much milk is out there personally. So
I have no idea. Unclear to me. Like somebody could do that on-chain analysis. I'm
well,
sure.
what's the tokenomics? Didn't they announce how much milk is out there?
Yeah, there's like, I don't know, something like 10 to 20 million milk produced a day. Like there's millions of milk produced a day.
I think the challenge is there's no fixed capacity either.
Oh, there's no cap?
There's no cap.
It's elastic. Milk is always minting and always burning. It's elastic.
I think there should be cap in that, no?
Yeah, we need a cap for sure.
Expert.
Yeah,
so that's all. Spencer made that point in my replies too. I wish we had Spence here because he's a really good mind with this stuff.
I'm gonna text him right now.
But like he also said one clear thing they could do is just put a cap on it, whatever the cap is. You know, it wouldn't have to be soon, and it could be super high, but just to have a fixed supply moving forward. I don't know how well that would work if you really, you know, in theory, could just keep burning milk, right? Like if it's actually being burned and not just recycled into the community wallet or something, then if you put a cap on it, that could have some weird impacts, like theoretically down the road. But you know,
yeah, it's definitely being burned. It's being burned and minted as we speak.
Yeah. I also think you could put some like huge premium on the time savings for this. So, you know, like it could turn into a real milk sink. But let me pitch some other ideas, okay? Because I think my other big one, and people had variations on this, but my other big one is any of these like moving forward as we come up with like the next Cooltopia character or Clown comes up with it, and we head towards having a mint for that. Like, let's have the mint pass be something you can buy with milk, or at least like some portion. Like instead of doing the whole like warning or allow list, community games, like all this stuff, like it's just something you can buy in milk. And if you're a cat holder, that means you've already got milk, so you can go buy a mint pass. And if you're not a cat holder, you can go out and buy milk in order to get the mint pass. That benefits cat and pet holders because we're out here generating milk. And we can either decide to sell it if there's a premium because people want to get this mint pass, or we can just use it to get our own mint pass for these characters. And and you know, and maybe that wouldn't be as much of a money generator for the team, but they would still earn royalties and that whole rigmarole. Or like I said, maybe there's still like you know, a portion of the mint that's public and has an ETH price attached to it so that the team can raise money off of it.
I love the mint pass idea because it kills like 3 birds with 1 stone. It's like one utility for Genesis holders who just are sitting on a ton of milk every day. 2, it's a milk sink. And then 3, if people really want it, they can go out and buy milk to pay for it. So increasing the value of or the appreciation of milk there. So that's been my favorite idea so far. You nailed it with that one, Horn Dog.
Yo, I have another idea. What if you take the milk and you pour it on your head?
Boom.
You would be.
I need to see it to believe it, Farokh. I need to see it again.
I'm telling you, I'm not doing shit until 28th floor. I've been saying it.
Farokh is holding the milk on head hostage until
back then I had made a promise to the community when we were at like after 10. Everyone was like, "Yo, you got to do it again." I was only at 20, and then we went down to 10. They're like, "You do it again at 10." I said, "No, it's 20, and I'm going to make a crazy video." So you
All
guys
right.
let me know. But Good Night is doing such a good work now. He's the one pumping our bags. I bet on Good Night any time of the day. I literally like I'm kidding. I'm joking. But it's gonna be interesting. But yeah, like I said, pour it and then we'll sink milk.
Yo, I give credit to the creators of Cool Cats because like when they came out with those syncs a couple weeks ago, like those are so creative and like something I never thought that they would do or could do, and like it's so simple now looking at it. So it just really just reassured like that good feeling that I had about the team. Like, oh, okay, like they're thinking of outside the box milk syncs that like they could do at any time, like because they just thought about it.
Totally. They I think they probably kicked off a lot of just like the brainstorming of what's possible too, even though it was like one can question like whether it was rolled out well or effectively, like the whole like we'll write you a custom lore about your cat, but then like it wasn't publicized really, and then there was a limited cap on it. Like there's inklings of like good ideas there, but the execution is like we're longing for potentially better execution there.
I heard
Yeah,
the word Shark Tank, so I wanted to jump up here, team. I was listening, and I was listening carefully. And what if, I don't even know if this would be a good or a bad idea, but what if we incorporated some kind of aspect of a tangible good to where now you could unlock and buy merch with milk and things like that. So essentially it's being recycled into the ecosystem, and now more people are becoming walking billboards. It helps with the marketing aspect. People will post
I
more.
think the only thing with that is like there still has to be like a real life transaction that takes place. So like someone's got to pay for those goods with real money. So like we're burning
And
milk.
how do you price it? Is very tough.
That's a tough thing. Like whereas
Well, it
like
could
if
just be like a ton of milk.
You know, it is a good
For
idea, but I'm saying it's hard to price. I know what he means by that because it's
yeah,
like then that means the cats, the team will have to incur the cost of doing so. Now, if you ask me, like they should run it for a little bit, limited drops, they should pay for it. That's actually a good look. They have the funds, in my opinion. So it is a good idea, Jakes.
yeah, like a
But it's
limited
not
time
on a
thing
large
like
scale.
that would be a vibe.
No,
Limited
I think
run would actually work. I would pay extra milk to get like a limited run, super high quality, dope
Facts.
thing, maybe one of 100
totally.
that Klon did. I'll go and bid in milk for that.
I'll spend
Like
all my
literally.
milk. I'll
Oh, I'll
spend over
spend more than you guys.
20,000
I'll
milk on
spend more
that.
than you
right.
guys.
Okay,
Facts. You gotta believe it.
So related idea. So I think you could do it where it's like limited kinds of items or like cheap items, but you can get them just in milk. Like you can get a sticker pack with just milk or a
Yeah.
keychain or something, right? And then two, this is kind of similar. It's basically the same idea of a mint pass, but like you were saying, Farokh, like, okay, basically an open edition by Klon, kind of like the old community drops. But if you want it, you just go pay for it in milk, whatever the milk costs. You know, a couple tens of thousands of milk, something like that. But you know, instead of it just being airdropped to you, you got to go out and acquire it with your milk.
Horn Dog, I'm gonna play devil's advocate with you here. I feel like the brand Cool Cats, like if you go with stickers, I don't want to say that it would devalue the brand, but essentially, I don't think that would. I mean, don't get me wrong, I would absolutely love some stickers from Klon. Absolutely.
What would you like as a holder?
Jakes, the Proof Collective is organized around the concept of getting stickers. And the floor of Moonbirds is like plenty right now. The whole
so
point
true.
of getting a Moonbird is to get stickers.
So true.
So I don't know what you're talking about. I feel like stickers are maybe the biggest value add in the space.
Horn, I'm not gonna lie. When I was at Veecon, I was throwing stickers everywhere.
Dude, I have a Cool Cat sticker on my fucking laptop, yo. That Klon did, the milk box.
Yeah,
oh my god.
From last year's NYC.
Yeah, I have that on my laptop. Every day I see it. It's so funny. In front of me right now. My god. But yo, like imagine some art. Like, yo, Klon is like a fire. Have y'all seen Klon's work? Like outside of Cool Cats? Like his like art is fire. Like he drew me one day, like last year at NFT NYC. I was having brunch with him, Keith Grossman, a bunch of people like Pablo Stanley. And then like I'm like, yo, Klon, draw me. And he's like, I've never drawn someone as a cat before. I'm like, let's do it. And he just looked at me and he was across the table just drawing me. And it was so sick. Like shit like that. Like Wouldn't you pay a couple milk to get? I don't know, like things like that.
Yo, but the system they've built, right, is pretty dope. Because when I first saw it, it wasn't just like a front end and a back end. Everything happens in your wallet in the hidden folder on Polygon, right? In your hidden folder on OpenSea. So when I first saw that, I was like, whoa, dope. And that's why they have like a 35 instance per day limit, right? Because they don't want to limit the gas fees they're paying for us to do these things. But I think Goodnight had a good point when he said, is it getting like repetitive? Like, so the like daily process goes for a new person. Like, okay, you get your milk, and then you do your quests. For me, I have like 2 pets. I do 20 clicks each, and then you buy your items to feed your egg, and then your instance is finished, right? So it seems kind of manual, takes lots of time. I guess you had the idea of instantly hatching and doing all these things. We want like, I have the milk, right? I have so much milk. The cats I bought, nobody even claimed them, right, to even care enough. So I got like bunch of milk, and I want to burn it and spend it, but there's nothing for me to do, right? So I think there needs to be a case where you can pay a premium of high milk and instantly, not waiting for anything, just to like burn it right away. And then I have so much milk to spend, guys. Seriously, like it's just sitting there in my wallet.
Yeah, let's
I think
wrap it up with retro on this topic, and then I want to be respectful of Bex, who's our guest, to get to her in the last half hour here. So what's up, retro?
yeah. So I just wanted to talk about the idea of the physical, tangible, and I was thinking maybe like a subscription would be cool. Like you pay for shipping, but you use milk and you get a random item from the merch store every day, or not every day. That'd be crazy. Every month, or it could be like a
No,
discount.
every day.
Every day. You know what? We gotta set ourselves.
Every
That's
day,
right.
bro.
Retro, I absolutely love it. Someone mentioned it. I don't know if it was Farokh or someone else earlier, but if you did like an exclusive drop that Klon made of certain numbers of items of merch, and then they could redeem, so it wasn't accessible to all Cool Cat holders. It was very like maybe like 1% or 5% of the entire collection, and doing these exclusive drops, I feel like that would be a really, really good statement for the cats.
Yeah, one
I
thing
love this. I think the theme that everyone's go ahead, retro.
I was just gonna say I'm almost done with the Cool Cats Game Boy game, and I actually want to see if they would be willing to work with me so I can make maybe about 100 cartridges, and then we use it as a milk sink. That'd be insane.
Oof. That's sick. That's sick.
Dude,
I love it.
let's go.
And only 100 of those cartridges
Come
are
on,
made.
that's community right there. That's
So
community right there.
I'll show you later. But yeah, thanks.
No, yeah, I think the theme that I keep hearing from everyone's like they want to spend milk or just in general have unique experiences. It's like in today's age, an experience isn't a good experience unless it's a unique experience. So the more unique that Cool Cats can make kind of the delivery of these things, in exchange for milk, the happier, the more delighted we're gonna all be. So I hope they hear some of that and take it back to the drawing board.
Okay, one last pitch, and then we're going to talk to Becks. But inspired by frozen grapes in my DMs, what if, and this is kind of what you were saying, Farokh, milk auctions for like Klon one of one pieces, or like
Dude,
Klon draws you,
Dude,
but
that's
it's
Wolf
an
Game.
auction in milk. I know Sighduck would win like all of them, but still, it would be a big milk sink. And
The
Nah,
only
I'm
problem I see with
or something.
the only problem I see with things like that is like we're looking to burn milk, not purchase things in milk, because then the team has the milk, and then
What if they were to burn it?
go straight to the sink.
Like,
Go straight to the
If
sink.
they're gonna burn it, then
yeah. The model
just
here
keep-
that I've seen that most effective directly is Wolf Game. Like they're all about wool, and they actually hired real auctioneer to come in and hold public auctions in the Discord to raffle off kind of their relics, as they call it, which is their Wolf Game art. And people, you got these huge whales dropping millions of wool, basically saying like, I want this NFT, bidding each other up, winning the auction. The auctioneer's talking like 10 million miles a second. And then at the end, Wolfgang, they're basically like, we're gonna burn every single piece of wool that came our way from this auction. So there's a model for that, and I totally think that like we could replicate that here. Let's get to Becks. Appreciate everyone's thoughts on just like the town hall and the milk burning horn dog with the Shark Tank ideas. I want to see more tweets from horn dog like in the middle of the night with just like random milk sink ideas. I think everyone would appreciate that. But let's get to
Wait, when did
Yeah.
I tweet that? Was it in the middle of the night? I can't
No,
remember.
I'm just
Okay.
it has like it has the aura of like I just thought of this and I need to put it out there in the world.
I woke up from
to
a
see if it
dream.
resonates. Yeah, it's like I had a fever dream about milk, and
If
I
you
need to
look,
know if
in
everyone else
my,
has the same fever dream.
my dream notebook is just all like ideas for burning milk.
Milk sink. It's the words milk sink over and over again to like an obnoxious level.
I really hope that's true, horn dog, and not just a joke.
It's got spilled milk all over the cover.
Yeah.
Just to say on brand.
Let's intro Becks here. So for those that don't know, Becks is the senior NFT analyst on the Cool Cats team. But she had her start with Cool Cats from the very beginning, from the original mint. There's a funny story there with kind of her Dr. Seuss rhyming in the Discords. And then there's she was also, the original mod for Cool Cats as well too. But maybe first I'll just welcome you back to the community spaces here, and also maybe if you could just give us a quick rundown of your background with Cool Cats and kind of what you're focused on now.
Hi, yeah, thank you. I've been loving listening to everyone, just all the crazy milk sink ideas and then all the really candid feedback too. I always really appreciate hearing what's going on with the community and what y'all are thinking. And so just, yeah, thank you. And thank you for sticking with us through some difficult months and for us refining our way again. So yeah, we love the community. And I've completely forgot what you asked me the good night.
maybe I did a poor job of introing you, so I'm asking if you could help rectify my poor hosting and just
rectify your poor hosting. You've been doing
like,
an amazing job hosting, first of all. Yeah, so I'm Bex, for those of you who don't know me. I originally started off as a mod for Cool Cats back in that first week of July, which feels like a lifetime ago now. And I joined the team back in October full-time as their senior NFT analyst. And so my job has basically been to stay up to date on the space and what's going on, community sentiment and all that sort of stuff, and bring it back to the team to help us make the best decisions we can. And we went through a few difficult months there, but I'm really glad we're finding our way again and getting back to our roots and what really made Cool Cats so magical at the beginning.
I'm sure there's a lot of people on the stage here that you recognize from like the early days. Who are some of like the OG folks that you used to chat with, and what was it like in the early kind of community days? Just for those of us that weren't there at the very start.
I mean, going all the way back to that first day. So I actually discovered Cool Cats because of a tweet saying, "Hey, this really cool project dropped their mint price. You should check them out." And I was like, "Oh, these cats are so cute." So I ended up, hopping into the Discord, and the team was hanging out in voice chat with the community, and it was such a vibe. Like everyone was loving these cats. Like they were at 0.02 as well, which was super super cheap, especially for back then. And sorry, can you guys hear that phone ringing in the background?
Very lightly. It's not messing with anything though.
Okay, my apologies for that. But yeah, it was like we were all minting and it was instant reveal. So people would mint like a batch and be like, "Oh my gosh, I love this cat. I love this cat." And someone would be like, "I want a cat like that. I'm gonna mint more." And we were just having the best time and hanging out with the team, and all the founders were in there, and they were just awesome people. Like I'd never met them before, obviously, but I was like, "Man, I really, really love this team." And we yeah, it was a big group chat, and I before I left, I just thanked the team and thanked them for the vibes and the really awesome art. And Clon actually DM'd me after to be like, "Oh, thank you for the kind words and the support." And I was like, "Man, this is like the nicest team. Like, I just want to be a part of this." And so, yeah, after that, I just got really involved in the community. They asked me if I wanted to become a mod that first week, and it's just been a blast. Like, building the community from the start was just such a good time. And I was at Veecon recently, and it gave me a chance to reflect back on the last year, because a lot of my modding inspiration actually came from VFriends, which is where I started my whole journey and which really onboarded me into the space and was really my home for kind of the first bit of my time in this space. And I was like, man, I just want to make Cool Cats feel like a home for anyone who comes here, whether they're a new person or they're a longtime holder and supporter. Like, I just want this to feel like home. And there were so many of us helping build that community feel, and we were just laughing and memeing, and it was just like everyone is welcome here, and we're all going to have a really, really good time hanging out together. And that was kind of the vibes at the beginning.
And you mentioned VCon. I know we've talked, and you said just like what an amazing experience it was. If we think about it, like from the Cool Cats context, like it was you, Klon, and Elu who each had your own respective panels, or you guys were on separate panels talking about different topics. Can you tell us a little bit about just the panel you were on? What kind of questions did you get, and what were some of the insights you shared? Because I think for anyone that attended the panel, it seemed to really resonate with them.
Yeah, so my panel was how to be a master mod. So, first of all, yeah, huge shout out to all the mods in the space, and especially for our mods and advocates, because they just kill it every day on our Discord, and just constantly grateful for them. But it was really nice because it let me return back to my origins in the space and with Cool Cats, and to just reminisce about what it was like to really build community at the start. And some of the things we were asked just was a lot of things you would expect from modding, of how do you how do you help build like a really great community, how do you deal with a space that runs 24/7, and how do you keep things safe and secure when there's hacks happening all the time and phishing scams. So a lot of that kind of stuff, and there was a lot of really um, kind of like motivational and encouraging community-based thoughts, where kind of we're all in this together, and we are getting to build the space we want to build. And I think some of that was really encouraging for a lot of people. And I think there was a lot of people too trying to still find kind of their home in the space, or where they belong, or how they can get involved. And I think modding can be a really, really great start for a lot of people, because it lets you get involved with a team. It lets you see, what is it like kind of building a project and a community from the ground up. And it helps you get to know the team and kind of get your foot in the door sometimes too. So there was a lot of ways to get involved as well that were talked about.
That's awesome. And what was when you were at VCon, like, what was the sentiment? I know Gary tries to like promote like a very like loving atmosphere. Everyone's kind of promoting each other up, and I'm sure that was like the case at VCon. But what was kind of the sentiment around Cool Cats? Were folks like familiar with it? Was everyone knowledgeable about it? Was everyone like, oh yeah, I heard there's a ton of fun? I'm just curious, kind of like in the NFT, in real life NFT space, which is hopefully like kind of different from the Twitter space. Like, what was the vibe around Cool Cats there?
It's funny because it was completely mixed, which was actually really refreshing as well, and very different. Because yeah, all day in the space is just like I'm living and breathing Cool Cats 24/7. But so yeah, it ranged everywhere from people who just love the cats, and some people who are like, oh, we know it's been a little difficult, and that kind of a tentative talk about Cool Cats, and then people who didn't actually know about any of what has gone on lately. They just love the cats. And then there was people who are like, oh, what is Cool Cats? So we really ran the gamut of like, yeah, zero knowledge to very deep knowledge of Cool Cats. And it was very interesting having to explain like, oh yeah, what is Cool Cats? Right. For someone who's hasn't been through everything we've been through together in the last few months, what is Cool Cats? So yeah, it was a good experience and really interesting.
And
Bex,
for oh
I'm
yeah, go
sorry.
ahead. Great.
I have a question. I was at VCon and I was looking everywhere for someone to be just rocking some really just OG Cool Cat stuff. And I don't know if you were there or not, and maybe I'm wrong, but I think I ran into you at the Dented Fields Mansion party. I don't know if that was you or if that was someone else. But I remember
Oh, that
seeing
might have been me,
someone.
like the mansion in the middle of nowhere party, like on the
Yes,
last
yes, yes,
night.
with
Oh
Chuck
my
Liddell.
god. Yes, with Chuck Liddell. Oh my god,
Yeah,
that was
yeah,
such
yeah.
a wild
I drove
night.
him there. I remember getting there, and you were the only one in there. I don't know if it was like a black long sleeve like Cool Cat logo, but I saw it and I was like, thank God, someone there that I know and that I can relate with. So I just thought
Yeah,
that
that
was
was
crazy.
me. Wait, you drove
That's
him there? I feel like we all left from the same place, so I feel like I saw your vehicle.
yeah. We picked him up from a bar with his buddy, and me, my sister, and a couple other individuals. We we drove. I was the driver because I was the only one able to drive at the time.
Oh, I love that. That's so fun. Yeah, we fed him Fruity Pebbles at like 2 a.m. It was great. It was the weirdest night.
You fed Chuck
He's so
Liddell
nice in person,
Fruity
though.
Pebbles.
I know, right? He's like a big teddy bear.
He's... Sorry, good night. What did you say?
No, just you fed Chuck Liddell Fruity Pebbles. That's an
That was
amazing
crazy.
sentence.
He ate them dry at first. We suggested he might want milk with it. So yeah, there's your alpha for the night.
And Bex, you had a chance to connect with Farokh. Farokh, you meet up with Bex?
Yeah. She came to me and she was like, "What's up?" And I'm like, "Who's that?" And then she's like, "It's Becks." I'm like, "No way!" I was like, "Whoa!" And then as soon as she spoke, it's Becks. I'm like, "Holy shit, the voice, bro!" Like it was so crazy when I heard her voice. I didn't know what she looked like at all, and because it's the first time we met. But yeah, Veecon was actually, as a matter of fact, I kind of rugged Becks at Veecon because I was supposed to moderate her panel on that Sunday, but unfortunately I had to go to New York, and so they had to fly me out during her panel. And then Becks had messaged me, like, "Yay, like I'm excited you're moderating my panel," and I had to break it to her that I wasn't moderating. So it kind of sucks. I'm excited for that, but it was like it's Rug Radio, right? So, but
Yeah,
Gotta live
true.
true to the name. I was
Yeah,
like, oh
you got to be
man,
on brand.
it's so great. I have a moderator. I know this is gonna be wonderful. And folks like, nah, you're being rugged, and you don't even know who's gonna moderate. You know.
oh my god, no, but oh my god, but I really, it's crazy. It's just the wrong timing type thing, like no luck. But what was fun is really like modding, like when the panel of Clone was on. I thought that was a lot of fun for sure.
You owe Bex a moderated panel at this point. You gotta make it happen.
I'm gonna make a panel just about Becks.
Yeah, the
A
Bex.
whole show.
I got one more question and then open it up to anyone else. So it's questions for Bex. I guess Bex, you've been like with the Cool Cats community from the start. And the more I talk to you, it's like you're kind of, in my opinion, kind of like the secret weapon of like the heart of Cool Cats. And many don't know that. I feel like you're so in touch with the community, the OG community, and what the community is looking for. So I guess my question to you is like, and obviously you're a member of the team, so it's like it's easier for someone like me and Horndog and Farokh and anyone else upstate should be like completely honest. So I guess just for you, Bex, like as kind of like a member of the team, what are you hoping? What are you hoping for Cool Cats to do, or for Cool Cats to go in the near term to kind of get back to what makes it so special? What needs to happen?
I mean, I think you guys talked about it a lot already at the beginning, but the thread we put out on Friday with the town hall, I think, was a really, really good start and really going back to our roots. Um, VCon was really amazing. There was a lot of just really awesome stuff that happened, but one of my favorite moments was actually when Elu, Klon, and Merv and I got to sit down at Five Guys and just have like a heart-to-heart team chat together. And we all got to talk about like what it had been like for us with Cool Cats over the last few months, what we struggled with, what we were really excited about and hopeful for, and what really brought us into like why we loved Cool Cats and how we want to get back to that and where it can go again. And I think that conversation for us was all so revitalizing and really hopeful. And I think Klon and Elu especially brought the energy back into Cool Cats when we returned. And I think you can kind of see the outcome that along with, Good Night, your thread and your spaces and the community really coming together to voice what I think was really needed and what really needed to be heard. I think all of that together came at the like perfect timing to really make a meaningful change. And hopefully a change that lasts. I know everyone's very like tentatively optimistic, which is very understandable given how things have been the last little while. But I think the thing I'm most excited about is, I think in Andrew Wang's space after town hall last week, someone was saying, we can't ever really go back to basics exactly, because we've all grown so much, we've all changed so much. It's been almost like a year in the space together, and so you can't ever really go back to the past or how things were, but maybe we can go back to this really new awesome version of back to basics and back to roots and what made Cool Cats so magical, with all the growings and learnings we've done, and maybe coming out an even stronger version of what we were before. And I think that's the thing I'm most excited about, and going back to building out what we all fell in love with Cool Cats, with this really awesome team, Klon's art, the community, just all of that together, I think is the thing that has me really excited. And being so early and being this IP that everyone keeps saying, like we can see this IP in the mainstream, like the kind of joke of like Hello Kitty on the blockchain, or we can see this brand going global. I think it's pretty exciting to be helping build a brand where we kind of get to change the model of how that looks. Like we get to be at the forefront of Web3 and showing, hey, what can we do to build a brand where community's at the forefront, where we get to feel like we're all building this together? What does that look like, and how can we do that? And I think that's a really, really exciting thing to be a part of.
That's awesome. Anyone else have any questions for Becks?
What's up, Becks?
What's up? I'm
Yeah.
just still processing what happened last week with Cool Cats and Veecon. Veecon was crazy. Like, oh my gosh.
I need this background that you guys have on your PFPs because it's really cute.
We'll hook you up, Farokh. There's on our Twitter, there's the background if anyone wants to use it and put it in with their cats.
But for real, I think like Becks, like for those who don't know, like you were like the first employee right after, like if you don't count the 4 founders, that technically employee number 5.
I
Were you like
think I was in the first 3. It was Adam, Frex, and I.
okay? I remember Frex and Becks. That's like
Yeah, Frex and Becks, classic
Frex and Becks.
duo.
Yeah, it's like 21 Jump Street type thing, you know?
Yeah,
And
shout
Yo,
out to Frex.
that first single you guys had was so sick.
you went so hard, bro.
Oh my gosh.
Music NFTs, Horn Dog.
Oh my god, they are the future.
And
Yo, we're doing a
but
milk auction for the Frex and Becks 101 wrap.
yo,
Do it.
don't
I
say that
would
in front of
spend so
Sighduck.
much money, so much milk.
I
Forget
wonder
the
how much
Klon one-on-one
Sighduck.
art. We want the Becks and Frex album.
I swear sometimes I wonder how much milk Sighduck has. But you don't have to tell us. But like yeah, 150 million.
So Bex,
But
but like just to be clear, your title, because I know you're around to just be a beacon of joy and friendship in the community, but your title is basically like go out and be a degenerate so the rest of the team doesn't have to. Is that right?
Yeah, that's basically my role. That's how I started too. Well, because basically what happened was I was modding for us, and I was telling the founders like, hey, here's what's going on in the space. Here's some projects you might want to check out. Here's some really cool contracts doing some really interesting things, or here's some like opportunities we might want to look at, or some like problems we might want to avoid that are going on in the space. All this kind of stuff, and they're like, oh man, this is really, really useful and something we're missing right now. Do you want to come on full time? And that's kind of how that all came to be. And then, yeah, I basically degen for a job, so
Yeah,
it's great.
because for people who don't know, Bex is like low key a very good trader, and quietly, because I think you're probably maybe as part of your employment, you can correct me if I'm wrong, not really allowed to sell, but quietly a Cool Cats whale as well from your pre-employment days collecting.
I can neither confirm nor deny this, but yeah, no, I do have some cats.
The blockchain never lies.
yeah,
You've seen it.
It's
Bex
true.
has a
I can't
cat.
hide it.
Bex is a
You
cat
have a
whale.
pretty transparent ENS name, so
Yeah,
if
no,
anyone
it's
really wanted to find you.
yeah, I know. It stays surprisingly low key most of the time. Every once in a while, someone's like, "Wait a minute, what?" And I was like,
Wait a
"Oh, you
minute,
found
I know
out."
your Twitter handle.
Yeah.
Bex, we have a question for you from our Twitter group.
Yeah. What's
What
up?
do you need from the community to support you? Like, what else do you need to make, like, to do your job better from the community, from us?
Oh my gosh, that is just the nicest question. I feel like honestly, the community has already done so much for us. Like I've always tried to remember just how grateful to be for the community we have. Like you guys have all gotten us through this period of time. Like like we wouldn't be in the place we are at if it weren't for all of you. So you've already done more than your fair share, and I cannot thank you enough on behalf of the entire team for that. Um, I would honestly just say, like, if you want to do something, just keep bringing the vibes. Like, have fun together, build the community together, welcome each other. Keep giving us feedback too, because it's really, really important that we understand what you guys are feeling and where you're at, so we can continue to build in a way that is something we can all be proud of together. So just, yeah, it sounds like you guys are already doing a lot with your Twitter group and trying to build the community yourselves. So yeah, thank you, and just keep doing what you're doing.
I've noticed that the founders also have a lot of fun because when I listen to the town hall, right, you notice in their voices like whether something is wrong or not. But those guys were just laughing, having fun, like kind of tickling each other, dissing each other, and like just enjoying that town hall. So I could kind of smell from the like atmosphere, right, like that these guys are actually like are building something and like are very confident in what they're doing. So the atmosphere that they spoke in was very like easygoing and filled with laughter, just having fun. Like I could notice that from the town hall. I think everybody else did, right?
Yeah, and I think those are the vibes that Cool Cats all really started with, and I think where we started really forming just such a fun community. Like, it really came from the top down, where the founders just loved to have a good time and they got along together, and then we just all started vibing off of that. So yeah, I think that's a good read on it.
Awesome. Well, I think we're close to time here. I think we've experienced a ton in the past hour and a half. Farokh kind of opened up his heart to all of us in terms of kind of the journey he's been on with Cool Cats, and we hope that Farokh, like when we hit that 28th floor, not only do you pour the milk on your head as promised and as recorded during the spaces, but that that we're back to happy place with Cool Cats, especially with you, because you were such an instrumental part of the early days, and I think you still got a big role to play with Cool Cats going forward, even after all the harassment and the challenges that you got. We're not letting you off the hook yet.
Hey,
So
listen, like I want everyone to win here. I think it's the cool thing with you guys is that even after, like, and I think I've written about that before, it's nothing new, but it's like there's a big part of the core, original community that either left or is just more like, kind of went more on the sidelines and such. But there still is, at the end of the day, good night, and a bunch of people who still, and Horn Dog is still, as long as Horn Dog is Horn Dog, you're good. And but people who care so much about this community, because like I literally study communities all the time, and I'm like, even after this, and I read, what really had me speaking is like your thread. I read like 100 comments from like 100 different Cool Cats, and the fact there's still so many people actually want to talk about it, it says a lot about a community, whether people want it or not, or whether people are happy about it or not. And I'm still waiting. I'm still not 100% convinced of what can happen in the future. But you know what? I still think it's if they actually take action week after week and show up and stuff like that, they can actually turn it around, right? We talked about earlier. But it's just, it's pretty crazy to see that there's still like such a big core community that cares, that wants this to happen. And so with that, you can do anything. I mean, you saw how even like you have Project Azuki that like went through some crazy stuff, and I know we've discussed it a million times back in the sorry, like when it happened on Spaces, but that community held that project like insane. You guys saw that. It was held back by the community, how strong they were. And so the Cool Cats is strong. So if the founders can really follow their community, I think they're gonna really win, because that's how it should be with the Cool Cats, because the community is really incredible.
no, I'm glad you brought up that thread. I was floored reading through it too, just like how many thoughtful responses there were. It's like you don't have this many people respond so thoughtfully unless they actually cared to see it succeed. So I I appreciate your words, Farokh. I stand on the shoulders of Horndog and you, Farokh, and other folks that kind of like did this week to week and helped build what it meant to be a community. So appreciate everyone joining today. Appreciate Farokh coming and sharing his thoughts. Appreciate Becks big time for coming and sharing a bit of history of Cool Cats, but also just being a representative of the team and coming out here and hanging with the community. So we have a ton of plans coming up. Like I mentioned, Skiz coming up in a couple of weeks here. Share a bit about Cooltopia, how that fits in potentially with the or at least Coolverse, and how that fits in with Cooltopia, two tandem games that seem to be running concurrently and will continue to do so. And then also bit of exciting news after the week after NFT NYC, we're going to have Klon up here. He's agreed to come up to share a bit of the behind the scenes on how they put together the Cooltopia in real life event. And Horndog can kind of host that conversation with Klon. And I know he's going to have some great questions and thoughts around that too. So this is just the beginning for all of us, everyone. And we're going to try to get as many people from the team up here from time to time as possible. And let's build those community vibes. So thanks everyone for attending this week, and we'll see you next week.
GM.
Thanks.
We love the cats.
We love the cats.
We do like
I
the
like
cats.
the cats. And thank you.
Yo,
Good
thanks.
night. You did a great job hosting. And you too, Horndog.
Thanks, Becks.